Eternity Changers is supported by viewers like you. Thank you for making it possible for me to chase my dreams and help you chase yours. Head over to patreon.com/PaulAllenCliff. That's patreon.com/PaulAllenCliff, and you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. Every bit helps, so head over today. In 1987, I got a call that would change my life. It wasn't the death of a parent, it wasn't anything that most people would find traumatizing. But for me, it was huge. What was it, and what was that effect? Well, that's what we're talking about today. Hi, I'm Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com, and there is something that's been holding me back, and it's been holding me back for 30 years. Well, not quite 30, more like 25. But anyway, 1987, I get a call on the phone. I'm in middle school, 7th grade, and I get a call on the phone from someone who used to be a good friend of mine. But things have changed in the years, and now he's more of a bully than a friend. So I was a little surprised to hear from him. He calls and he starts with small talk, and then he just gets crude. That's all I'll say, is crude. But from then on, anytime the phone would ring and someone would say, "Hey, it's for you, Paul," there would be something in the pit of my stomach. Fast forward to the past few years. I don't like the phone. Anytime I can use a text message or an email, I'll do that rather than making a phone call. Why is it? Well, it's because I have this experience that's holding me back. So I want to share with you some steps that I've taken to get past this experience so that I can pursue my dream more effectively. Number one, identify the activity that you're hesitant to do. For me, it's using the phone. For you, it might be anything. And I want you to just identify that activity. Think, when I come to do blank, I don't want to. No matter what it is, what the reason is, I just don't want to do it. It's like there's a built-in gate stopping me from proceeding forward. Think about situations like that. Now you might think I don't have any of those. That's okay, just file this question into the back of your mind, and next time you come across something, I want you to remember this question and keep it in mind. Now next, look for the root causes. In my case, it's that phone call. That wasn't the only prank call I had from other guys that I considered my friends. One time, one of my friends called me up assuming or pretending to be one of my teachers, telling me that I'd done poorly on a test, that I was normally a studious child and I really should do better, except I recognized the voice. And I knew that it wasn't who it claimed to be. Turns out I did fine on the test. In fact, I think I got one of the highest grades. So it really was someone that was trying to mess with me. There's another situation. So what I want you to do is deal with them. In this case, I need to realize that I'm giving power to someone who is, in my mind, 12, 13 years old. I'm 40. Why is a 12 or 13-year-old causing me distress? Why are they holding me back from what I should be doing? If today a 12 or 13-year-old did something like that, I would laugh at it. I would think that it was cute that they were trying to be so mean to me and failing so miserably. But during my impressionable years, it didn't seem like that at all. During my impressionable years, it seemed like I was being betrayed by someone who should know better. So that's something that you really ought to do, is recognize and deal with it in light of who you are now as opposed to who you are back then. Next, I want you to take some ground, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's a baby step. Think of what's the least possible thing that you can do and make forward momentum. The least thing that you're not afraid to do. Maybe it's calling your spouse. You know that your spouse likes you, wants to hear from you. So don't be hesitant in doing that. Don't be hesitant in doing what you need to do. The next thing is you need to be willing to ask for help. I remember one of the times that I mentioned this for the first time to one of my friends. They said, "Oh yeah, that does explain why you're so hesitant to call me." And then we prayed about it, and we tried to iron out some of these things. Number 5, consider a step function in your healing. Now, I don't know that this is common language, so let me define it. Sometimes you're just cruising along and you're doing the same. Sometimes you're cruising along and you're doing worse. Sometimes you're cruising along and you're doing better. But there is a fourth situation where you're cruising along and then you just decide, that's it, I'm taking a step forward. Boom. And you instantly go up. Maybe you instantly go up in what you're willing to do. I'm thinking particularly about a podcast that I used to listen to called One Extraordinary Marriage. And the couple in this podcast, they were cruising along fine, and then they decided they weren't okay with fine. They wanted an extraordinary marriage. So they did what is called a 90-day sex challenge. So they decided, as a married couple, that they were going to have sex every day for 90 days. And it totally revolutionized their life. It was a huge step that changed everything and changed it for the better. That's a step function. For me, looking at where I'm hesitant, let me tell you about the step function I took. I took a job where my entire livelihood was dependent on my willingness to take phone calls. Now, there was still some hesitancy in me, but I did that for 3 years. So I got very used to people being excited for me to be on the phone because I was solving their problems. So with this mountain of evidence compared to this one little bitty thing, maybe these 2 little bitty incidents, I now believe I'm good on the phone. People like to talk to me on the phone. I help people when I'm on the phone. So that's another thing that you can do, is take a step function in your healing. So, how about you? What is holding you back from pursuing your dreams? Is it something silly? Something that when you think about it, it was something that happened when you were in elementary school, something that happened in high school, something that happened when you were younger versus today, where you look and you say, you know, if that happened to me today, I'd just move on and not think of it ever again. Think about those things and think about how you can crash through those barriers, how you can just punch them in the face, how you can say, I will not tolerate this any longer. Because when you crash past your barriers, when you say, I refuse to let this limit me anymore, that's when you have the opportunity to really go out and change eternity. Until next time, I'm Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com.